Another day, another acquisition by Ripple. This time, this one is actually relatively significant, and it's Palisade. Palisade is a real payments platform, and it's been acquired by Ripple. Another day, another acquisition. This is what I'm saying. When you think about the macro situation, the price of everything is plummeting at the moment, but that doesn't deter Ripple because they know that this is a temporary situation. And anytime from now, we're going to be heading back up. And when we're heading back up, of course, Ripple is going to be ready to implement. Now, I want to talk quickly about why this is a little bit different from the other payment stuff that you're seeing here and there. So let's take an example of, say, PayPal, or maybe even a MasterCard collaboration with, I don't know, an Ethereum L2, for instance, for payments. So with these payment systems, what you're actually doing is they're facilitating you selling your crypto and then converting to fiat and then spending that fiat in the normal way. Basically just speeding up that process. So you want to buy a cup of coffee, you go to the cafe, you purchase, you swipe your card, and in the back end, it does what you would otherwise do manually. So in the back end, what usually happens is you go onto your exchange, you sell the exact amount that you need, or you sell a stash and you have a prepaid card. So in that normal situation, what would happen is you'd go into the exchange, you sell some crypto to the effect of, to the same value of what you're trying to pay for. Or sometimes you have some prepaid debit card systems or prepaid credit card systems, which are really debit card systems, where you sell, say, $100 worth of crypto. You have that sitting as US dollar or British pound or euros on your card as a prepaid card, and then you spend that. So these systems that exist, the MasterCard one, even the Uphold one, are basically doing all of that automatically. So they have a third-party on-demand liquidity situation on their side, on their wallets, and when you require that, they do the swap in the background for you, and then it makes all that seamless. So you're not actually spending the actual crypto. You're not really spending the actual crypto. What you're doing is you're trading your crypto at the point of spending it and then spending it. What the Ripple system is doing is spending actual crypto natively. This is what it's trying to achieve. So all of the platforms that are subscribed to the Ripple payment system are all agreeing to use XRP itself as the medium of communication, the medium of payment, the medium of transaction. So the transaction not only doesn't require you to transfer the money or trade the money or convert the money to a certain cryptocurrency, you're basically just expending the XRP itself. Now, obviously, there are going to be people spending non-XRP tokens, in which case XRP is bridging the transaction of those products from one to the other. So if you had Bitcoin and you're going to spend it on this platform, XRP does the transaction, and then the whole bridging into Bitcoin happens in the background. So it's a completely different system. It's much faster, it's much more efficient. It benefits from RippleNet's security via the XRP ledger, the efficiency, the speed, everything. So this is the fourth or fifth acquisition in 2025 that is payments related, custody related, or real world assets related. This isn't. In addition to that, the acquisitions, we also have obviously the partnerships that they have that aren't exactly acquisitions, but they're partnerships. There's so much of this happening now, and when you stop to think about the fundamentals, then you appreciate that, guys, there's no need to be worried about a temporary slump in price based on completely unrelated circumstances. In fact, there's a very chance that because of the way Ripple is moving, that we might see a decoupling of XRP from the usual cryptocurrency market sooner rather than later. And payments is going to be absolutely massive. Obviously, all the existing payments platforms are also scrambling, trying to secure their position in this new paradigm. So yes, there are going to be multiple solutions, but the best solution is going to win in the end. And I personally believe that the Ripple Net solution / XRP is going to be the grand winner of all of this. So yes, The fear greed index is slumping. We're now back into fear. And yes, the price has dropped to $2.20, which is quite incredible. But again, tomorrow would be the longest I think the US government has ever shut down. So that's actually quite interesting. I think moves are going to be made. I think that's a psychological barrier. Once we've gone past that, I think that we might lose that urgency, unfortunately, to have it reopen, not to be the longest ever. The precedent will be set. So I think that we might stay shut down for even longer than expected once we've gone past that threshold. So that's not looking terribly good, but at least the interaction with China is looking much, much better. It looks like they're reaching goals there. They're reaching decisions and agreements on the rare earth metals, rare earth minerals rather, on the tariffs, etc. That's looking sort of good on that aspect, in that aspect. Unfortunately, Japan not looking too good. They're injecting some liquidity into their market to try and aid with the hardships. And this is going to lead to inflation issues, which is going to roll out across to the United States. There's a lot of arbitrage investment from the United States to Japan that's going to suffer from this. A lot of people make billions a year just investing in Japan trusts and funding it with American money. And that difference, the arbitrage between the two countries, has made billions of dollars for many organizations who are now going to be in trouble. And that trouble is going to be transferred into the American economy. So that may hit things even further. Here in Europe, things aren't looking that great. The government's run out of money. Everyone is scrambling. They're trying to tax us to try and backfill some of that debt. So a lot of people are going to be put in a lot of hardship. Some people that were usually exempt from these hardships because of the amount of money that they have, they earn 45,000 and over or something like that. They're going to be included in the hardships coming soon. The inflation is just out of control. Like I said before in the previous video, things are a lot more expensive than they used to be. And it's more and more difficult now to see families living comfortably. There's a massive boost in popularity of food banks and stuff. I'm seeing more and more food banks have lines in front of them, people trying to get to food. It's really, really hard. And I'm just hoping things get better very soon. Otherwise, something has to happen to correct all of this stuff. And unfortunately, that might mean some pretty deep recession. And a lot of people are talking about that. A lot of people have been talking about the crash of the century, the global reset and all that sort of stuff. I think we're gearing up for a big crash. But before that, some are going to secure themselves with crypto. Not financial advice, your own research. I'll see you next time.